town of Westerly has seen tremendous change in the last 100 years. The people born during the early part of the last century lived through a tumultuous time, including the Great Depression and World War II. These people are getting older, and only a few that lived during this historic period are still alive today. Soon their histories, memories, thoughts, hopes, and reflections will be lost if their stories are not told.
Well, good afternoon. Tom Galusho here, President, Westerly Historical Society, with our next episode of Reflections. And today I have the privilege of introducing Theresa Wright. Good afternoon, Theresa.
Good afternoon, and
Welcome.
thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. Tell me a little bit about how Theresa Wright came to be. I would like to hear about your grandparents and your parents.
Okay, my grandparents, Natalie Pucci and Theresa Capalbo, were married in Acre, 1902, and they came to America. He had a promise of a job at the Sullivan Quarry, which is in Bradford,
Yep.
on Quarry Road. They came to Bradford. He purchased a home on Quarry Road, so he was able to walk to work because obviously no cars.
Okay.
And he had the promise of the job to start with at the quarry, Sullivan Quarry. Unfortunately, at the age of 39, he was in an accident at the quarry and died.
Oh, wow.
Left my grandmother with 5 children, the youngest being 6 months.
Wow.
And she always said that she paid her mortgage with the insurance company so she would at least have a roof over her head. They were not citizens. In fact, she never did become a citizen.
Wow.
My grandmother didn't. So she raised her family in Quarry Road. My mom was the only daughter of hers.
Okay.
My dad came over in, when he was 17 years old. He was sponsored by his godfather out in Cranston, Rhode Island. So going back, my grandmother came into Boston, but my father came into Ellis Island.
Yep.
So his godfather picked him up in New York, since he was his sponsor, and he had a job waiting for him, and he came to America.
Okay.
He worked in the city in Cranston in various restaurants, and then he did get a job in BDA, which is in Bradford,
Yep.
and he came into Bradford, and he met my mother in Bradford. And
Oh, wow.
the end is history.
Okay.
So, he stayed in Bradford, didn't go back to Cranston.
Nice.
And he worked in BDA probably maybe 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah, he
That's a long time.
long-time employee at BDA.
Okay. And they
And-
settled in Bradford.
And settled in Bradford. Yes, in fact, they built the house that I am still in. And like we
That's
said previously, there are
Yep. 3 generations.
3 generations.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah. And I am still in Bradford, obviously.
Yeah.
I've been there all my life.